I am drinking another non-alcoholic beer.
Brewdog.
This
hazy
one's
as fuck.
Hazy as fuck. I guess it also could mean alcohol-free. That's what Chris said, but I was like, I don't think that's what it means. I think it means as fuck, right?
Yeah, as fuck.
It tastes like a real beer. Well, because I like the taste of beer. So
weirdo.
I'm not weird. I can't drink beer because I get headaches now because I'm old. But like even one beer I'll get a headache. So, but I miss the taste of beer. So now at the end of the day, I can have a beer, but it's like there's no alcohol in it. So I can just throw down like 6 of these and feel like a champ.
Nice.
That's good. I mean, this podcast is not. It's not. Although if they would like to, I'll happily take the sponsorship. But we are not in any way affiliated with Brewdog's Hazy as Fuck. I just really like the taste of it.
So for the first time today, I ate pretzel chips, crisps. Because I am trying to eat a snack that I won't want to eat a ton of.
So you chose something that you don't like.
Yes.
That's, you don't have to, that's weird. Like you don't have to make yourself eat something you don't like.
It's not that I hate it. It's just that it's not like a great craving. It's not like you eat one and you're like, I have to eat more.
But Sarah, what if you start to crave pretzel chips?
Pretzel crisp, yeah.
And then
maybe
you'll have gotten yourself really in deep into like this addiction unintentionally.
That's true. Ooh. I didn't think about that. Yeah, they're garlic parmesan.
I'm familiar. I'm familiar with their work. My kids like the pretzel crisps. Yes.
Yeah.
My kids are fans of all kinds of snacks, to be honest.
They are, especially that Elliot one.
Yeah, he ate like 4 bags of goldfish and just like passed out today.
Oh.
Yeah. And then
4
he didn't
bags?
Well, like the snack bags.
4 little bags? Okay.
Yeah. Still not great,
Yeah.
Chris and I were in here watching the end of Cuckoo, and so we were not parenting. We were just like let them run free and eat goldfish. And because I was like, Mommy has a really important television show to watch for her podcast.
Very important.
So it takes precedence over your health. No, we spent a lot of time hiding. We spent a lot of time hiding in here regardless. So
yeah,
at least I had an excuse. Welcome to the Adam and Andy podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nicole.
I'm your other host, Sarah.
And today we're going to be talking about Cuckoo.
Cuckoo as fuck.
It's cuckoo as fuck. Before we get into,
I can't believe you didn't watch it until like did you start last night?
I started last night. The episodes are really short. Actually, I'm glad that I did because it kept it all fresh in my head. Chris and I started watching last night. We watched like 4 episodes. And then this afternoon before the podcast, I watched.
You watched
3 episodes.
We didn't make it through the 7th one. We were like, this is bullshit. Anyway.
Yeah, well, it's on my bullet points. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw my text, but I was texting you during we'll get to it, but I was texting you during the first episode of season 2, and I was not happy.
Yeah,
I was not happy. That's all I'll say about that. But I did enjoy it, and I'm excited to talk about it with you. I'm so happy that somebody. I'm actually gonna say who it was that suggested this to us, because I am really grateful. Though I didn't even know about this show.
We didn't know about it.
I saw his IMDb credits, and but I didn't know how much I would enjoy this show. So had it not been for this listener, we would not have known about it. Here we go. It was Palm Springs at Prism 82. So thank you for that suggestion.
Thank you.
Had it not been for your suggestion, we would not have watched Cuckoo. So we're going to talk about Cuckoo in a second. But before we do, are you ready to get into some Adam and Andy news? I just picked up the paper from my front porch, and I've got the news bulletin right in front of me.
Wow, they're in the paper. How cool.
You don't get Adam and Andy daily like I do.
Oh shit, was I supposed to?
I would highly recommend a subscription. Although it was a little much this week, and we'll get into that. By the time this episode comes out, it'll have the whole thing will have been a week old by that point. So I'm sure Twitter will have moved on, but there was a lot of drama this week, and we will. I'll get into it. I'm saving it for. I kind of want to save it for last. For the last.
Okay.
Of part of this segment. So we will talk about Adam and the chair and the whole thing. We'll talk about it. But we're just gonna wait for. Got some other news items to get to first. So I'd like to start with Andy today.
Okay. Andy
had some really big and exciting things happen this week. So Palm Springs and Andy and Palm Springs were both nominated for Satellite Awards. So Andy was nominated for Best Actor, and Palm Springs was nominated for Best Motion Picture, Musical Comedy Motion Picture Satellite Awards. But and that's great. I think the really big news this week, though, is that Andy and Palm Springs were nominated for Golden Globes.
Nice.
Yeah, so super exciting. Andy nominated for Best Actor, obviously, and Palm Springs nominated for Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy.
Nice.
So do you want to hear a quote from Andy about, let me find it. I just I moved off of my bookmark that I had here, but do you want to hear a quote from Andy about?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what he said about being nominated for a Golden Globe. What a treat to wake up to the news that Palm Springs has been nominated for 2 Globies. He called them Globies. Or somebody wrote that. It says Globies in the quote. On behalf of everyone who worked on the movie, thank you to the HFPA for the Hollywood Foreign Press Association for the recognition. Time to go hazmat suit shopping for a big hazmat suit so we can not party.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. So that was adorable and super excited. Oh my God, Sarah, we're going to have to watch the Golden Globes again this year. Ooh. Just for Andy, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't he the host a couple years ago when we were doing the Georgia Made podcast?
Yeah, him and
Sandra Oh.
Yeah, Sandra Oh. Okay. Yeah. I was about to say that, but I was like, that can't be right.
Yeah. So yeah, super excited for Andy. Well deserved. I'm just a little bit like, but where's what about Kristen Milioti? I feel like her performance was equally good. So
yeah,
I'm very happy for Andy, but where's the love for Kristen Milioti? Where's her love? I feel like her character went through a pretty big change in the movie as well. So
many other amazing performances by women this year, last year.
Sure. I don't get it. I thought she was very good. So I don't know why she's not also being nominated for awards. I'm glad that Andy's getting awards, obviously, but I felt like they were really a team in that movie and that they were on par with each other. So just putting that out there. I know this isn't the Kristen Milioti podcast, but because I've seen Palm Springs so many times, I do feel like, I just want to cheer for her a little bit, So yeah, good news for Andy. I don't know if Brooklyn Nine-Nine is back on set or not. I haven't seen any recent pictures, so I don't have any updates for you on that. Although they were supposed to be back at the end of January or mid-January, so I don't know. I'll let you know if I hear about that. So now we're going to move on to the Adam news. So we got a couple things. 65 finished shooting in New Orleans. They're not wrapped, but they finished shooting at that location. There was a picture of everybody on the plane, and Twitter worked very hard to try to zoom in to find if Adam was on the plane. Possibly he was sitting in the back. Not sure. It was very blurry. But there was a picture of him walking with a crew member to get on the plane. and he has short hair now, apparently, like really short, like first season girls short.
Oh, okay.
And so Twitter was all excited about that. They're filming in Oregon now, so that's what's going on with that movie. And then apparently the Gucci movie is going to film in about 40 days.
Busy guy.
Busy as fuck. He's like, I know there's
I
know these girls are doing a podcast about my filmography, and I have to get out there and work so that they don't run out of films. It's clearly the reason. All right, so I've avoided it long enough. So we're going to talk about this now. So Sarah and I have actually talked about this next thing. I feel like I'm building up way too much. By the way, we're about to talk about this controversy this week about Adam and the experience that this Portuguese actress, Lydia Franco, had on the set of The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. We're going to talk about that right now. So if you don't want to hear about that, or if you're not interested, or you're just like, I want to put that behind me, I will put in the show notes where you can skip ahead to just jump right to the Cuckoo discussion. In the meantime, we're going to get into it. So here's what happened. And Sarah, like I said, Sarah and I talked about this already prior to the show because it felt like something we needed to discuss before talking about it on a mic. So first of all, I was on Twitter I was on break from work and went on the Twitters, and this article had come out in a Portuguese paper. I don't even know if I should call it a paper. Apparently it's a very like salacious kind of tabloid paper, but they had taken an interview that the Portuguese actress Lydia Franco, she's 76, I think, 76, 78. Anyway, she's a well-respected actress in Portugal. She worked in a very small role on The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, which I should have looked up when it was filmed, but I want to say it was like 2017, 2016, 2017. Anyway, she was in the film, and she was on a podcast and made some comments about Adam Driver, and then the magazine took parts of that and basically put out this report that implied that he had like assaulted, like it actually literally said Adam Driver assaulted this older woman on a set. And so that's what came out first, and I was like, holy fucking shit. And then I had to go right back to work, and I was like, I had to check my emotions as a human being for a minute, because I was like, wow, this is really affecting me. I'm a grown woman with a job, and I should be focused on my job right now. And instead I kept getting distracted by like, oh my God, like, have I been doing a podcast about someone who assaults old ladies? Like, is that what's going on? That's how I was feeling. And as selfish as that is. And obviously I was like, wow, I hope that's not true, because, you know, obviously this is an actor whose work I enjoy and respect, and we enjoy doing this podcast, which obviously we could not continue a show about someone like that, right? So it would just become the blank and anti podcast, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, and Sarah, if you want to chime in, feel free to stop me at any time. So later I was able to obtain, there were lots of fans on Twitter who were actually translating the actual podcast. So the podcast itself was also, which was in Portuguese, was being translated by multiple people. And I found a translation that I thought was really good. In fact, well, I don't know if anybody is interested in going back and reading any of this stuff, but the podcast the translation that I liked the best, let me see if I can find it. Okay, it was Rena at Dark Lena, but it's a Daerk Lena. Anyway, she did a Portuguese translation that was actually really good, because it contextualized things. Like, it contextualized emotions and double entendre and things that in English that just like translating it to English doesn't do, right? And so in the translation of the podcast, you can tell that Lydia is very upset. She felt like it was very clear that she felt like it was a toxic work environment on that set. She made claims that Adam wouldn't let extras look at him, or he had like something in his contract saying that if extras looked at him, that they would be fired. People couldn't be on set while he was rehearsing. And then there was the biggest thing was that, well, she said that he's a tremendous actor, but a terrible person. And that then she said in the translation, it says that he assaulted her. And I think that's where the article pulled that quote from. Yeah. Well, she called it a disguised assault or a camouflaged assault with a chair. Again, this is a translation. And interviewers kept pressing her about this. And finally, she was just like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. She called him a madman, is what the translation most people seem to agree with is. And then said, I don't want to talk about him anymore. He's not worth my time, basically. So at this point, Twitter is like the Stan Twitter is burning down. Like it is just all burning to the ground. Here's what I'll say about this. I think the fact that most people said, you know what, I love this actor, but if he did actually assault this actress, like I'm sorry, but I can't support that. I believe her and what she says, and I'm gonna wait for more information. And so I think that it's good that people took that stance pretty quickly. I think there are people now. There's a little bit of infighting about it, and we'll get to the end of this story in a second, I promise. But I do think that it's important to take what women say about things that happen on set seriously. And I'll get to why, because I do have something to say about that. Actually, you know what? I am going to say a few things about that right now. I love the work. I love watching Adam Driver movies. I enjoy looking at his undeniable magnetic hotness. I think he's a tremendously talented person. But no matter what I think of that stuff, I do think that there is a long history of women in the film industry being bullied or intimidated at the expense, at the behest of making great work, or whatever that means. And I'm not talking about Adam Driver specifically at this moment. I'm talking about Stanley Kubrick and the way he treated Shelley Duvall on the set of The Shining. And if any of you don't know what I'm talking about, I urge you to go, if you're interested, and go look up this stuff. It's well documented that Stanley Kubrick tormented Shelley Duvall on the set of The Shining to get the performance out of her when he could simply have just asked her to act. She's an actor. I'm not going to get into Last Tango with Marlon Brando, but that's a whole situation you can read about. We did an entire episode of our other show, the Feminine Mistake podcast, about Quentin Tarantino and the treatment of his female actresses, including Uma Thurman on the set of Kill Bill. That episode, if you're interested, is Feminine Mistake podcast, episode 303, Tortured Genius. So well documented, especially directors letting male actors get away with behavior towards female actors. And there's a whole history of abuse on set being excused because of male genius. Okay. So when I heard about this, I was like, I hope this isn't true. But if people that are like, oh, well, that was years ago, how could it possibly have happened? Like, that stuff gets buried. Mm-hmm. Men with power bury stuff. It took them 20 years to get Harvey Weinstein. Right? Mm-hmm. So that being said, I just want to get all that out of the way, because it is possible. Mm-hmm. It's very possible that shit can happen. And it's possible that it can get buried, especially on a foreign co-production. When you have an older Portuguese actress who people aren't going to listen to what she said about what happened to her. It does not surprise me that something like that would get buried. So now I'm thinking, did he throw a chair at her? Did he get upset? And did he throw a chair during an improvised moment of performance? Like, what happened between them that made her feel this intense, like this, obviously these painful emotions that she's feeling? I had to wonder what happened. At this point, I messaged Sarah with the article with the translation. I messaged her and I was like, hey, we got to talk about this on the show. It's still in motion. Don't know what's happening. Seems unclear. I don't know what a camouflaged assault is. So I'm waiting for more information, but we should probably talk about this before our next recording so we can kind of figure out like how are we going to respond to this? And let's process our emotions about this before we say something about it. So Sarah, I don't know if you have anything you want to say at this moment about what you were thinking when I brought you in at that point, or if you want to. I just want to stop talking for a second in case you want to say something.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely a history of men being abusive to women on set. I also know that a lot of times people who are famous are under a lot more scrutiny, and so any mistake they make, not that this was a mistake, but any bad behavior that they have,
any kind of temper, loss of temper, yeah,
it's like that person is a shit person. I think that this was a mixture. He probably was being an asshole, but she also probably pumped it up and dramatized it. I'm not saying that she it was bad.
Let's get to what she said the next day, because I think that'll kind of wrap this up and maybe move us into that area of the discussion. But yes, I agree with what you're saying, which is that people lose their tempers, and when I lose my temper, there aren't a bunch of people around me. There aren't a bunch of people around me who are stands. Yeah, there are no Nicole's. There, I have no stands except for Sarah. So nobody's going to report my temper tantrums, and I have them every day, I assure you, because I can't control my emotions. So yes, I hear you on that. So here's what happened within the next 24 hours. So the next day, production company associated with Man Who Killed Don Quixote releases a statement, I'm sorry, saying that Adam, no extras were fired on the set of The Man Who Killed Don Quixote because of Adam Driver. He never requested that. They said that that the extras were not allowed to take pictures of Adam, which makes sense. They said that they made some vague statement about how rehearsals are structured in a way that it makes them, I guess, intimate as possible between the director and the cast, and that maybe requires fewer people to be there during the rehearsals. All of that sounds like normal actor stuff.
Yeah.
But they didn't say anything about the chair.
Yeah.
They didn't touch that. So then hours later, another article comes out with a statement from Lydia Franco. And let me just pull it up so that I don't misquote her. But basically, she came out and said that the Portuguese, the things she said on the podcast were a misunderstanding. Oh, shit, I got to translate this again into English. Come on, Google. Anyway, she had said he attacked me in the podcast. That's what she had said. Camouflaged attack with a chair. She says it was a misunderstanding. So here's what she says. Here's the quote. Our characters in the film had to be physically close, explains the actress. I consider the actor's behavior, Adams, to be uninspiring. Wait. Sorry. My damn thing jumped. Hang on. Okay, here we go. I consider the actor's behavior to be uninspiring because, and remember, and this is a Google translation, guys, of this article, because in the preparation for the scene, he was not as careful as I think he should have been. So she said he wasn't as careful. I've also seen the translation, he wasn't as delicate as he should have been. I've seen that translation as well. Our characters had to be physically close, and each time he got up with great momentum in character, the chair that he was sitting in touched me with a certain strength, which bothered me. She also says that despite her discomfort, her visible discomfort, he insisted on with the same behavior. And this led to Now, in this translation, it says it led to an outburst without any intention of harming him. But I think the other translation I saw that made more sense to me was that this misunderstanding on set led to her feeling like she needed to get things off her chest on the podcast without having any intention of harming his reputation. Okay. So she says, "I'm sorry for the misunderstanding." Anyway, that's her quote. She says, so now, and gosh, I know we're spending a lot of time on this, guys, but I cannot tell you how much time this took up of my actual thinking for the 24 hours that this was occurring. I also saw a picture, and since we last talked, Sarah, I saw a video clip of the scene that she's in. And so she's standing behind where he's seated at a table with the other main cast in the scene. Yeah. She's seated behind him at another table. I've seen the clip now because we haven't watched Man Who Killed Don Quixote yet. He pushes back abruptly from the table because he's trying to get to someone to talk to them. So he pushes back from the table, stands up quickly, and pushes his way through the crowd of people around the table to get to the person he needs to talk to. That's what happens in the scene.
Does he push the chair into her?
You can't even see her in the shot. Like there's a picture where you can see her standing behind him, but in the scene from the film, like it's like she's not even close enough for you to even see her in the shot, or at least she's not visible on camera that I could tell.
So it seems like anyone he pushed past could have had the same reaction. He pushed me.
Well, we don't know what happened on set is the thing. Yeah. What I can tell you in the blocking is that he has to get up from a chair, he probably pushed his chair back and he probably walked quickly through a group of people to get to his mark, I'm guessing.
Right.
So it sounds to me like he was doing the scene and bumped into her, and maybe she didn't speak. Maybe she didn't feel. Look, she didn't say she asked him to stop. So she didn't speak up either because she didn't feel like she had to, or because, which is common, maybe as a woman, she didn't feel like she could say anything to this big movie star. Like my understanding is that she is a very well-respected actress in Portugal. So it's not like she's never been on set before, but maybe she felt like she couldn't say anything.
Yeah.
And so she got upset, or maybe she did say something and it led to an argument. Or maybe he kept forgetting and he kept bumping into her anyway. I don't know. But the point is, he didn't throw a chair at her or anything like that. But there was obviously... Look, you don't call someone a madman for bumping into you with a chair. Something happened. And obviously he didn't throw a chair at her, thank God, but maybe they had an argument. I feel like somewhere between he camouflaged assault with a chair and he stood up too quickly, somewhere between that, there's a situation that happened between them that was unpleasant and it left her with a bad experience. That's my understanding of it.
That probably most people who have to work with Adam probably have come away with like, yikes, that guy's kind of a madman, he is kind of.
I've heard from what I've heard from other people. There are people that have said he's lovely. There are people that said he's very generous. I've heard reports from extras that say he thanks everyone at the end of the day. I've also heard people say he's a method actor, and when he's in character, he doesn't talk to anyone, and he's a dick.
Yeah.
So, but that's the end of the story. Is that she? I also want to acknowledge that maybe she blew it out of proportion, or maybe she really had a fucking bad experience. Maybe that set was toxic, and she wasn't supported. But she also can't. But Adam Driver's a powerful person in Hollywood, and maybe she went a little too far in her description of it, and then had to back off very, very far to avoid being sued. I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, something happened on that set that gave her a bad experience, and it's not assault. Apparently, it's not assault. It's clear that in what she said that it was not. But that doesn't mean that she didn't feel like her voice was not being heard on set. Obviously, that's how she felt.
Yeah, I kind of feel that Adam is probably, because he's met Method, and Method, by definition, it's like the work, the art is more important than anything else, and that your own life, your own.
Well, you know how I feel about the method.
Yeah, so I think the method is just disrespectful, just like
to humans, other humans.
On its surface, like it's just, like it just is, but by definition, if you are not allowed to be yourself, to talk to your coworkers or whoever you're around as yourself, and you have to be this character at all times, like that is just disrespectful. And
I'm actually okay with people have different, people have different processes. So here's, I guess, the last thing I don't know if this is the last thing, but this is close to the last thing I want to say about this. Adam, so fortunately, Adam is not a person who throws chairs at old ladies. So I feel comfortable continuing to like his movies and talk about him on the podcast in a positive way. But I do want to say that I think it's important to respect each other's acting process. Like if his acting process is to stay in character and not joke around on set, that's fine. Like he should have the space to do that. But also I think it's ultimately I think it's the responsibility of the production. So I'm putting this on the production mostly for whatever happened, because she obviously went to people and talked to them about it and said, I'm not happy. And they said, there's nothing we can do about it. Because that was in the podcast as well. She said that.
Okay.
So if Adam and her didn't get along and there was some kind of disagreement, that happens in a creative environment. That happens in an environment where people's emotions are running high. That happens. It's on the production to create an environment that is not toxic. It is on a production to create an environment where women are listened to. And I'm not even talking about The Man Who Killed Don Quixote right now, although I've heard that production was fraught with all kinds of problems. Women historically have not always felt safe or listened to on a film set. And that is something that needs to change. That is something we should demand that it changes, no matter who you are or how important your work is or how many awards you have or whatever, whether you're the director or you're the lead actor or whether you're a supporting actor or an extra or a grip. Everyone should should ultimately be able to respect each other and create a positive work environment. And you can do that and still make good art. It's shocking, but you can.
Yeah. Well, I just don't know if Adam believes that.
Well, we don't know Adam, and we don't really know his process so we don't know we don't know if he reached out to her and apologized. He's not going to come out and say anything in public, and I don't necessarily think that he needs to. I don't know if he reached out to her and tried to talk to her about her experience, or if he's going to think about this next time he's on set and he gets into a disagreement with someone. I don't know. I don't know him personally. But I'm just saying that in general, outside of this one situation, I think it's important that film sets have a safe environment for people to work in, and that women should feel safe on set. And they don't always. You and I have worked with toxic people before. We don't tolerate that behavior on our sets. We don't work with people that create a toxic environment around them. I've had a chair thrown at me before. Actually had a chair thrown at me during a acting workshop, and I did not like it. Yeah. And that actor did not check with me. And I did not feel safe working. Like, I didn't feel like I could trust that actor from that point on.
Yeah.
After having a chair thrown at me.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad this worked out in a way that no one actually got assaulted. I'm glad that didn't happen to this poor woman. I hope that we can just generally try to create sets that are safe and a positive experience for everyone. I hope that's a thing that we can all make a commitment to do. And I think Hollywood should work harder at doing that. Not just for Lydia, but for everyone. And I'm sure there have probably been sets that Adam Driver has been on and felt, maybe he's felt unsafe. I don't know. Sets can be unsafe for everyone. You're making a face because he's a big man, right? But like on set, on Hollywood sets, they'll make you work these crazy hours and turn around and have you get up with no sleep. Mm-hmm. They'll ask you to do things that are beyond your comfort zone. And yes, we should push ourselves for art, but there are limits.
Yes.
That's all that I'm saying. And I'm not saying that maybe Adam felt like anyone was going to assault him with a chair. He's a big man, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the course of his career he's had been asked to do something he wasn't comfortable with. Haven't we all been at some point? Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, well, on Girls, he was not comfortable with the sex stuff at first. Like he was very
Is that so? I've never heard that. I heard it. Yeah. I heard him talk about that it was awkward, but I did not. That's not something I heard.
Yeah, well, it was his first on-screen stuff, and he didn't feel comfortable, and then when he saw how Lena was so comfortable, it helped him.
Well, that's good. Well, hopefully on that set they created an environment that made him feel safe. I hope.
Yeah,
you should feel safe on set. Adam should feel safe. Lydia should feel safe. We should all feel safe on set. We're all doing vulnerable, emotional work. And we're all trying to create something together. And we can do that in a positive environment and still make good work. We don't have to make it doesn't have to be painful. We don't have to make it painful. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
We don't have to make it painful.
Holy shit, we've been talking for a long time already. Should we go ahead and talk about this movie?
Let's do it. Well, it was a show.
Yeah, it was a show. So sorry that took so long, but it was I thought it was a really important topic and I wanted to truly give it some discussion. I wanted us to be able to unpack our feelings about that. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure. Was there anything else you wanted to say? I didn't want to cut off this discussion.
No, I'm good.
Before you. Okay, good. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Cuckoo. Cuckoo. 2012. You all right there? 2012. So this is a British television sitcom.
Britcom.
Single. It's a britcom. Thank you. I like that. Mm-hmm. A single camera britcom. So Sarah, what is Cuckoo about?
Cuckoo is a show that was named after a character that left after one season.
We're not going to talk about that because the Cuckoo ended. Cuckoo ended at one season.
Okay.
That's how I think of it. I think of it.
Yeah. So Cuckoo is the show about this. So there's a man. He has a daughter. The daughter elopes. Ken. The daughter, Rachel, elopes with Cuckoo, who is a hippie man.
Played by Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg to perfection.
Perfection.
Like perfection.
Like perfection.
I mean, sorry, my eye has an itch.
Get in there and get that eye. Get it.
So, yeah, I mean, she elopes with him, and then he comes in and moves in with Ken and Lorna, who are her parents.
Lorna, played by the actress who played Emily on Friends. As soon as I saw her, I was like, oh my God, it's Emily from Friends.
Yes, I knew. I saw that. I was like, yes.
She looks great, by the way.
She does.
She's adorable. Anyway, please continue.
No, so he moves in, and basically the first season is
we're going to talk about Dylan?
Well, yeah, Dylan. Okay, can I just address, yes, those are the characters. So Dylan is the little brother of Rachel. Anyway,
who could use a little discipline, frankly. Anyway, please continue.
So the thing about this show is that I feel like it's very one note. Like the conflict is like every episode has the same conflict of Ken versus Cuckoo. Yes, it's a very Laurel and Hardy kind of setup. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The jokes are hit and miss. The characters are stereotypical.
I enjoyed this show, I think, more than you did, Sarah, because Chris and I laughed a lot. It sounds like, I mean, you're right. The whole premise of the show is very one note, but I did think it was very funny.
I thought that Andy and Lorna were funny. Everyone else was like, eh.
I don't know. I liked the show. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every episode that I watched. It was a sitcom. It wasn't like mind expanding, but I laughed. I thought it was very funny. It was actually one of my favorite things that we've watched for Andy's work. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, like,
and he was great.
He was great. He was. Like, I watched it for him. I mean, obviously.
And him and Rachel were so cute. You didn't like Rachel? I thought she was adorable. You didn't. It doesn't seem like you liked her.
I'm surprised, Nicole, that you.
I thought she was really cute.
I thought she had no personality or character.
That's fair. That's fair.
Summary of her is she's essentially a cardboard cutout of an agreeable woman.
Okay, fair.
A manic pixie dream girl without the rescuing part, the making a man complete part. Like, she just is cheerful the entire time, doesn't have much to say, doesn't have
she's a sitcom wife.
Yeah, it's just like she had nothing to her, and that pissed me off.
I get that. I did like the scene. We are jumping so far ahead. I actually have bullet points. I have normal bullet points. Anyway, I just want to defend Rachel for a second. I did like the scene with her, and who was I don't remember his name. Dab or Drab or whatever the guy's name was. Is that him? I don't know. They had dinner and he was like trying to hit on her and she was just like, fuck off. I enjoyed that a lot. You're right. We didn't get a lot of character development from her. She was
she was like, I mean, she's the
wife
wrong. Of the main character.
You're not wrong.
I don't know.
You're not wrong. But I guess I was too busy looking at Andy and how hot he is as a dirty hippie. Sarah, why is he so hot as a dirty hippie? Like, I was so hot for him as this dirty hippie. He was dirty and his curly hair and I just like, and his onesie, and I was just eating it up, Sarah.
No.
I don't know if I've ever been thirstier.
No.
Yes. You didn't like it? I liked his neck beard. I was into it. I was 100% into it. He can sit nude on my countertop anytime.
I was repulsed.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I was like, ugh.
Really?
The ear gauges. I just hate ear gauges.
They were so funny.
I'm so sorry.
They looked like they were so ridiculous.
Yes.
Come on. His
outfits were crazy.
He was always wearing like 3 sweaters but no pants.
Yes.
It was amazing.
I did think the costume design of him was
great.
Brilliant. So and it reminded me of Dick Pic Professional in that I feel like every article of clothing the costume designer chose was like, this is fucking hilarious. Like,
yes.
This is making a statement. Like,
yes. I agree 100%.
So I thought his performance was perfect. I thought that the costumes were great. I thought that like the writing of him, like his character's writing was good.
Yeah.
Everything else was like, eh.
It was mostly a show about him and Ken.
Yeah. That's why it was called Cuckoo.
Yeah. Apparently. But they should have changed the name when they got to the second season.
I know.
Okay, we're not going to talk about the second season. I mean, we will, but we're not.
Did you watch this entire second season?
No, fuck no. I hardly made it through the first episode. It was a struggle. I literally only watched it because I thought Andy was going to be in that episode.
We fast forwarded through that episode.
He wasn't in it at all.
Yeah.
That was real shitty IMDb. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Anyway, my first bullet point was, why is Andy so hot as a dirty hippie? So what would you like to talk about next?
Hot.
Oh my God. Like I would roll around with him in the grass. Yes.
So we have the trope of the daughter who elopes with someone offensive to her parents. I don't think I've seen the son-in-law moving into the parents' house thing.
I feel like that's probably happened.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of movies where that happens.
Yeah. So Ken...
I just can't think of any right now.
Ken, the dad, was just eternally grumpy.
Eternally grumpy. But I kind of liked him. I kind of liked him, though.
I understood why he was so pissed off. Like, I felt that too, but it was just like, that's all he was. He was just pissed off dad.
Chris kept every episode, Chris was like, this is my nightmare. Like, he was like, none of my children better bring home someone like this. Yeah. And I was like, well, our kids probably will bring home someone like this.
Elliot. Yeah.
No, Elliot's going to bring home some square, uptight woman who sees him as a fixer-upper, Sarah.
Oh, you're right. Like that therapist on the last film we did.
This is where I leave you.
This is where I leave you.
Although if he brings home Connie Britton, I'll be like, good job.
Good job.
You did good. I'll be like, can you take care of him now? Because I'm exhausted. That's the whole setup of this is like, you know, Cuckoo comes in and fucks shit up in every episode, basically.
And the things he says are just like, ugh.
Okay, well, I want to talk about hunters and thinkers.
Okay.
Because that's something that Cuckoo says in the first one or two episodes.
Yes.
I think it's maybe the first episode. He tells Ken, you're a hunter and I'm a thinker. And the hunters are big and dumb. Which I think they did make I think they took advantage of that actor's size a lot.
He is so giant.
Huge. And I thought it worked very well for the comedy. I actually enjoyed him a lot. I mean, that angry dad character is a trope, but what's different about Ken is that he wasn't just he had emotions. Like, he wasn't just a gruff, like, everyone listen to me. He wasn't an Archie Bunker. He wasn't I know this is a British sitcom, but I have to compare it to American sitcoms because that's all I really know. He wasn't a Archie Bunker. He wasn't who's that guy to the moon, Alice, from the Honeymooners. He wasn't that dad. That was the prototype. But he cared about his daughter and had regrets and was loving to his wife and wanted to make a nice dinner for her and have an anniversary, and she's the one who didn't remember the anniversary. So I feel like they did a lot of a subversion of that trope. And I thought that I enjoy, Ken was a good foil. I enjoyed him. Or was Andy the foil? I guess to me Andy's the main character. So Ken was the foil. I know he's supposed to be the main character, but for me, Andy was the main character. Yeah. Anyway, so he says that hunters are big and dumb, and they go out and they make the food. They get the food. They make the money, and the thinkers come up with cool thoughts. Anyway, I just wanted to, and I think that was kind of the summation of their relationship at least at the beginning, in Cuckoo's eyes.
Yeah, and they also, did the whole he doesn't have a job and he's runs a potato van and
jacket potato van.
I don't even know what jacket potato.
A jacket potato is a whole potato, I think, that you cook and you put spices on the outside. You cook it in foil.
Is it like a?
It's a jacket potato is a baked potato, Sarah.
Baked potato. Okay.
Yeah. It's not just jacket potatoes that he's selling, Sarah. He is selling joy, togetherness, and war against the state.
Yeah.
So
about his character. So he has, this philosophy, the Eastern spirituality type stuff that we're seeing with hippies, but he has a Western kind of a selfish twist to it that's
which I think is another trope. Americans having, and I think Andy's played this character before, the stupid selfish American who spouts a bunch of nonsense but is actually very selfish.
Yeah And his personality, he is self-important, he's a know-it-all, he appears to be caring and care, but he doesn't I don't know. I can't.
He seems very caring, but also especially happy when it has something to do with him directly. But you know, he also, I think he likes the validation of helping people almost a little bit more than actually helping them. But yet he continues to help people. Like, he does do things that, like, he's like, just when you think he's just kind of a stupid idiot, he does things like, I mean, what he does with Lorna's father, like, you know, giving him this way to grieve by telling him that the cat is the reincarnated spirit of his mother, like, or her mother. Like, I think he does really believe that, because you see him reading the book at the beginning of the episode about reincarnation, but also like he's giving her father like a gift of being able to move on, you know. The way he treats Connie with the music and how he like inspires her.
Is he doing that to help her or to hurt Steve?
I don't think he's doing it to hurt Steve. I think he's doing it to help himself, because he wants to help someone to make him feel like he's succeeding as a guru.
But at the dinner that began the whole thing, Steve said something offensive to Cuckoo, and then
so does Connie. So does Connie, though. I think Cuckoo hates Steve, yes. I mean, he makes no mistake about hating Steve. But I don't think his motivation for helping Connie is because he hates Steve. I think he helps Connie partly because there's some bit of him that genuinely does seem to like helping people. Like, he seems to like he enjoys helping Ken get high and get let loose. He enjoys teaching Connie to sing. He enjoys, he takes enjoyment out of the stuff that he's doing that helps people. You can see that. But it does also benefit him in the sense that he's like, at the beginning of the episode, just selling potatoes isn't never going to be enough for me. Like, I have to be able to help people. Like, I have to feel like I'm helping people. And so him getting her the gig is also him helping himself, because he feels like he's fulfilling his own dreams. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But he time and time again, and I think it's the way Andy plays him.
Yeah.
Like, I think that as written, Cuckoo is pretty selfish, but Andy's like genuineness, like his earnestness, is what it makes it feel like he actually feels good helping people. I think that that thing in Andy, that earnestness, is what makes Cuckoo feel human and not just a caricature.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, he's very earnest. I would agree with that.
Should we talk about the cat and that whole episode? I know.
I thought that was the best episode.
It was very good.
They really pumped up the
stakes.
The stakes, yes, the drama. Like, it was so tense, and you knew you were going to see that dead cat. You knew that everyone was going to see that dead cat.
I was so upset, Sarah. I had to cover my head with a blanket multiple times. We watched this last night. As soon as Chris saw the cat, like at the beginning of the episode, before anything happened, like, her dad is like petting the cat, and Chris was like, "That cat's going to be dead before this episode is over." He said it like 2 minutes in, and I was like, "No!" I was like, "They're not going to do that." And then the rifle came out, and I was like, "Ooh,
yeah,
this is not good."
Yeah.
So they're at Lorna's dad's house. He's lost his wife recently, and he's got this beautiful Persian cat who's the neighbor's cat, right?
White and fluffy.
Yeah. And Cuckoo picks her up and is like talking to her, and like is like, "This is the spirit of your dead wife." And everyone kind of believes him, except for Ken, of course. And then my favorite part is when he sets up the bowls of water, and one has a post-it on it that says, "You're the spirit of your dead wife," and the other one says, "I'm just a nice white cat."
Yeah.
And she has to go drink, and she goes and drinks from the one that says she's the spirit of the wife, obviously. Yeah. And then when she turns away, she's got the post-it on her forehead.
Yeah.
Oh, so cute.
Very cute.
I also love the part where Andy holds up the photo of his wife next to the cat and says, if your wife were a cat, she would look exactly like this.
Yes. What's so funny is that woman did look like that cat.
Well, I'm sure they cast the woman to match the cat, or the cat to match the woman. I'm not sure.
Imagine being cast in a role to match a cat.
Well, it's just a photo. It's probably somebody in the production team. It's probably not an actual actor.
That cat was not cute. They're like, my point.
Oh, I thought the cat was so cute. What?
The face was not cute.
I thought it was, but it's probably somebody who works like in accounting and the production or something, and they're like, "Get Margaret down here. She looks like this cat. We're just gonna get a photo of her in the parking lot."
Gosh.
And then Dylan, who's a little shit. That guy.
Dylan is a stereotypical little asshole brother.
But he's also icky.
Who's horny.
He's icky.
Yeah.
Why did
he reminds me of that guy in what is that movie? It's like a American Pie, not American Pie.
He seemed like he could fit into that movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too sidetracked, but why didn't he ever get in trouble for buying ecstasy? It seems like that. Like, it seems like maybe your son is a little shit because he never faces any consequences for his actions.
Yeah. And then he, slept with a sex worker. Sex worker who he was sick. Was he 16?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a problem for me.
Okay. Can I say I did not care for the scene where they were sexualizing his body when he was like, do you remember the part where he gets out of the shower and he's like shaving or something? And he's like, and I was like, I know the actor's not 16, but the character is. So can we not do this?
Yeah.
Like, gross. Anyway, back to the cat. So Dylan, who's a little shit, is pretending to shoot with this Korean War rifle. And then Ken gets a hold of it and, of course, shoots the cat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then he bags up the cat in a very awkward scene where he's like...
In the father-in-law's duffel.
And his duffel with his name...
Army duffel.
With his name and address on it. Yeah. And then they go to the pub... I didn't expect it to play out like this. Like, I knew, so he leaves it in a dumpster at the pub on top of everything. Doesn't try to hide it. And obviously someone from the pub tries to bring it back to the house. But what I didn't expect is that Cuckoo seems to pick up on the fact that there's something going on with the bag. Do you think he knew the cat was in there?
Yes. Also, hold on.
Sorry.
How they got there. Like, they found there was a chip in the cat's...
Yeah, the cat was microchipped, yeah.
And they tracked the chip all the way to the house. They're like,
because the guys got it in the bag, yeah.
Yeah, and then Cuckoo got the sense that... I was afraid the bag was going to rip
It did!
Open. Oh, did they not unzip it?
They pulled it apart. I don't know. I was like, I was kind of had my face covered with the blanket at that point, but when I opened my eyes, the bag ripped in half.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
How upset would you be? I would be traumatized.
I mean, the kid was there too. The kid who the cat's family. Yeah. But why? Like, so you think Cuckoo knew that the cat was in the bag? Because he was like, he saw
the bag.
He seemed like he figured something out. But why was he trying to force Ken to open the bag in front of everyone?
So that everyone could see it. Everyone could know that that's what Ken did. Do you think he
knew the cat was dead, or do you think he just thought the cat was in the bag?
He knew the cat was dead.
Oof. He seemed shocked when its body fell out, though.
Oh, anyway, I didn't watch his face. I did what he said.
That episode was very uncomfortable for me.
I did like what Cuckoo said on the drive on a drive somewhere about how like you subconsciously wanted to kill that cat and you did. You know, I think that he was very perceptive. And there was also another speech he gave where it was not the engagement, the wedding, like we got married announcement, where he was like, you can't buy love in the store. Like you can't take a chemical that, you feel like that is like love. And I thought that was very sweet.
And then he kept saying, and then you're love, and and we're all love, and we're the love is here together, and we're loving, and and then it just got silly. Okay, what do you got next on your list that you want to talk about?
I liked Lorna the most because she was the least stereotypical. Like I don't even know what her type would be. Like she was the mom, but she was not the typical.
She seemed like an easygoing mom. Like she seemed like everybody was. It was almost like, gosh, Sarah, it was almost like That's My Boy, where everybody in the family likes. I don't remember Adam Sandler's name in the film, but everybody likes that character except for, like, Andy was playing Ken and That's My Boy, basically. He was playing the guy who doesn't want this fucking crazy hobo around. And this time it was him playing that role.
No, I thought that Lorna was very funny and very, excited and interested in lots of things, and like
I really liked when she kept misremembering things, like on the anniversary when she's like she got him the Ozzy Osbourne t-shirt and he's like, what is this for? And she's like, you remember when we were like, doing it behind the Ozzy, and that guy walked by in the alley and he looked like Ozzy Osbourne. It was like some other guy. Oh my God, that was so funny. Or when she was like, this is our song, and he's like, no, it isn't.
Which is not usually what happens with the woman in relationships and films. I don't know about in real life, but at least in films,
I'm sure that there are plenty of women who forget anniversaries. I liked Lorna a lot. So do you want to talk about the stag party?
Sure. The stag do.
So as it turns out, Cuckoo and Rachel are not legally married because they had some kind of ceremony with this coconut, and it just like, that scene was very funny where he was like, I need official paperwork, not a coconut. So they decide to have a wedding. This whole episode, I was very tense because it was the last episode of the season. And I knew that Andy was only in 7 episodes, but that this show went on for like 5 seasons. So I was like, are they going to kill Andy off in this? I was like, I was upset. Well, in that episode, I was like, are they going to kill him off? Is he going to like, is him and Rachel going to have a fight? I was like, don't do this to me. I'm too invested in this relationship at this point.
Yeah, there was no foreshadowing or any indication that that he would leave.
Well, I'll get to that, why that happened in a second. So they have to get married. So they're going to get married, and they have to get married because otherwise Cuckoo's going to be deported. So, they decide, they have this like, they have a wedding planned, and you see like, sorry, I'm going to make sure my phone doesn't vibrate while we're trying to have a podcast. So Lorna and Rachel are planning the wedding. I guess they didn't have a bachelorette party. I don't know. That didn't seem to be something that was on the table.
What is the female equivalent of stag?
A doe?
Is it called a doe party?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So they're going to have like a bachelor party for Cuckoo. And Steve, who we haven't really talked about, but neighbor Steve, who I did not like. I know you're not supposed to, but the actor was great. I think he was successful in making me not like him.
Yeah.
So Steve, Connie's husband, is mad at Cuckoo because in the episode where Cuckoo teaches Connie to sing, Connie divorces him. They didn't really clear up what happened, but she leaves him to be a singer and to go off with another person. Like she leaves with her lover. Both of them can't sing, but they're so happy, and that's what's important. You know what? Here's the thing. Steve doesn't deserve Connie. There, I said
That's true.
He doesn't.
That's true.
He doesn't deserve Connie. So Steve wants to ruin Cuckoo's wedding as revenge.
Yeah.
So he basically gets himself in the position of being the best man, so that he can get Cuckoo really drunk. This plan is heinous, by the way. Get Cuckoo so drunk that and then pile a woman on top of him, take pictures, and send them to Rachel. And then Ken agrees to participate in this. What the fuck?
Well, Ken hates him.
Does he though? I thought they reached some kind of understanding after the MDMA trip.
They seem to go back to the way things were before.
I guess you're right. But not, I mean, I feel like the lengths that you would go to ruin your own daughter's wedding. Like she obviously, like whether you like Cuckoo or not, like she loves him and she would be devastated. Like this would be so traumatic for her. I just find it's like, it was a little hard for me to believe that Ken would go along with it. And I know he doesn't ultimately go along with it, but it was a little hard for me to believe that. I guess it's a sitcom and you just kind of have to roll with it, but. So they go out. I enjoyed all the scenes of them going out. They put Andy in this like baby costume.
Baby outfits.
Maybe that's the way stag parties are
No.
Okay. Tweeted us at AdamAndyPod. Are you a British person? Can you tell us, do men dress up the bachelor like a baby when they go out for their stag party? Is that a thing? Because all the guys were wearing daddy shirts, and Andy was dressed like a baby with a diaper.
He was wearing like a diaper and a crop top. All of his crop tops were cropped.
I know, it was so great. Oh, God bless the wardrobe department. Anyway, so they go on the stag party. They are drinking so much. How is Dylan drinking this much and staying upright? He's only 16.
16 at a stag
Ew.
party.
Honestly, they should have just let Dylan run the stag party. No one should have let Steve do it. Steve is he's like a villain. Like the way he taught, like, again, this actor did such a great job because as he was talking about his plan, I was like, he sounds like a villain from like a science fiction movie. Like he doesn't even sound like he's in a sitcom right now. Like he's in a different genre of television at this moment. So what they end up doing is they go to the club, they're dancing. By the way, so much dancing and so much Andy dancing in the show. I loved it so much. We got to see him dance so many times. And they bring in a sex worker who ends up going off with Dylan. Eventually Cuckoo does get drunk enough to pass out, but not before he tells Ken this really sad story about how his father left him when he was a kid and his mother didn't have time for him and that he felt like he never had a real family until now. And then Ken's like, I can't do it.
And Steve's like, you're right.
So Steve gives him like is it GHB? What's the name of that drug that is like the party? I'm sorry, it's been a long time since I've been in college. You know what I mean? The drink that the guys drug, the roofie. They roofie women with it. You know, it's not roofies. Yeah. Roofies are pills, but there's like a drink. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about, listeners. It's that awful, disgusting drink that people take or give women to drug them. Anyway, he gets drugged by Steve, who's fucking heinous, that guy. Did not see this coming. They put him in like,
who could?
A storage container.
Shipping container.
I did not see that.
That you put on the back of like a train or something.
I know. I was like, what is happening right now? And
tied up Does he have food? Does he have water?
No, he was going to be for months. He would have died. Honestly, he would have definitely died. I was like, is this how they're going to end the show? I was like, I feel like if you end the show this way, I'm going to feel betrayed.
Yeah, no, I turned to Sam and I was like, this is dark. This is way too dark for a britcom.
Yeah. I was very concerned. So he was going to put Cuckoo on a ship and ship him off somewhere. And then Ken has to fight Steve to try to get Cuckoo back, which I thought the fight was really funny because they really took advantage of like of Ken's height.
Yeah.
And his like the way that Steve runs at him and Ken's just like, I'm like 2 feet taller than you.
Yeah.
That was a good pairing. They did a good job with that.
Also, did you find it funny / creepy that Steve role plays as Ken with Connie?
Oh my God, I forgot about that. That made me laugh so hard. I looked at Chris and Chris was like, What?
That is fucked up.
Do you think Steve wanted to be... So here's my question. Does Steve want to be Ken? Or does Connie just have a crush on Ken and she makes him role plays as Ken?
He wants to be Ken for sure.
Okay. All right.
Because there was a scene where he was like looking at Ken like he wanted to, and he said something and it was like, okay, yeah, he wants to be Ken.
Got it. Okay. I love how Ken's like, I'm not sure if I'm really flattered or disgusted.
Yeah.
So Ken runs to try to rescue Cuckoo, but he's too late, but it's okay because Cuckoo escaped and swam, which was frankly a relief because I was
and
like,
his diaper was all soggy.
It was, yeah. Well, it had to be because he probably also didn't have a toilet in there, so he did drink a lot of shots.
Yeah.
So they make it to the wedding, and there's this whole thing at the beginning of how like Cuckoo's like wants Ken to engage in this ritual where he like kisses him to welcome into the family, and like Ken doesn't want to do it. And the wedding was really cute, and I think Andy really excels at the earnesty of being in love. Like earnesty isn't a word, but I really believed that Cuckoo was in love with Rachel. Like I believed that. He made that very believable. And I believed that they seemed like I know Rachel was one dimensional, but when they were together, I did believe that they loved each other. Like I believed in that relationship.
Yeah.
And I was rooting for it. Obviously so much so that I wasn't paying as much attention to the writing of Rachel, which you're right, is very weak. But I guess I was so focused on Andy that I wasn't paying as much attention to that. But in the end, they have their wedding and they put their coconuts together, and then Ken kisses Cuckoo and welcomes him into the family. Yeah. And I thought it was really sweet.
And then
everyone who's listening, just stop right there. Don't watch any more Cuckoo. After the wedding episode in season 1, end of season 1, you're done. The show's over.
You're done.
You don't need to watch anymore. You don't
need to see Taylor Lautner. You don't need to see Rachel recasted.
Do we have to talk about this episode?
Don't have to talk about Cuckoo falling off a cliff in like the Himalayas or something. I don't know. Like,
so the first series came out in 2012, which means they probably shot it in like 2011 or something. Wait, when did Brooklyn Nine-Nine come out?
Probably around that time.
Yeah. So what happened was, well, here's the thing. First of all, British television shows. Okay, so Brooklyn Nine-Nine was released in 2013.
Okay.
The first season. So what happened in Britain, I've noticed, and this is, I think, common knowledge, their shows don't come out every year. Like it'll like the second season of Cuckoo came out in 2014. So it usually takes them like 2 years to produce. Like if they're going to do a season 2, it's usually like 2 years later. It's not like back to back. So I think what happened in between Cuckoo season 1 and season 2 is that Andy was cast in Brooklyn Nine-Nine and wouldn't have had time to go back and do season 2. I mean, literally, the reason they wrote him off the show was because he was too busy to do it.
Yeah, no, I looked it up because I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, but the show's called Cuckoo. So
And why did he allow himself to be cast in a different show if he already had commitments to the
because
show?
they probably weren't producing the second series until after he was already cast in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like when you're cast on an American, both also if he's on an American show in LA, then he can live in the States.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's got to take his whole family. And like, also think about it this way. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is like 24 episodes, or was at the time, 22, 24 episodes. Cuckoo was like 6 or 7 episodes. So getting on an American television sitcom would have been probably more profitable for him.
Yeah.
It would have led to more recognition in the American television industry for him.
Yeah.
And also probably after Cuckoo wrapped, it wasn't like they were like, they didn't contract him for season 2. The way that it works in Britain is you do a series, it ends, and then maybe a couple of years later you do a second one. But it's not like Brooklyn Nine-Nine where they're like, you're contracted to do the show until it gets canceled. It doesn't work that way in Britain. So he got another job because that job ended.
Yeah.
I'm sure he enjoyed working on the show, but he has to go, he's got to eat. He's got to go get on another job, you know? Yeah. So he got Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I think, and was not able to return for the rest of the show.
Okay.
So in summation, guys, don't watch any more Cuckoo after season 1. It just enjoy the wedding. It's over. It's like that episode of Friends where Phoebe says like the end, and we don't watch the rest. Although if you want to know what happens, Cuckoo goes missing. The second series takes place 2 years later. He went to Nepal to herd goats or something. He falls off a cliff and dies. I'm serious. This is literally what they tell you in the show. Rachel, they recast her with a different actress. She was fine, I guess, but I was like, I don't like this. Dylan looks like he's like 30 by the time they start the second season. And Taylor Lautner, who is a terrible actor.
Twilight fame.
He is a terrible actor. Like after watching Andy play that same type of character for like 6 episodes, I was like, oh, this is so bad. Anyway, Taylor Lautner, do I even have to say this? Like, he plays a guy who's supposedly Cuckoo's long lost son, because when Cuckoo was 13, he had sex with a woman in a cult and she became pregnant and had Taylor Lautner, who plays Dale. This is the plot of the show. I cannot begin. It's not, but in a bad way. I don't like it. It's weird and gross. And then they made sexual tension between Taylor Lautner and like new Rachel. And I just like, ew. He was calling her mom. I don't like any of it. I don't sign off. I don't condone. He was calling her mom. He's like, I guess you're my mom then. But then they were like hitting. Then they were like, they had the sexual chemistry. It was awful. It was terrible, Sarah. That's why I was texting you.
How's it going for 5
seasons? Well, obviously I don't know. Maybe it gets. I'm not going to keep watching it. That's for sure. I like those actors, but I can't. Like, please, you couldn't have thought of a better way. Like, you could have brought in Taylor Lautner some other way, or like maybe
Why does it have to be related to Cuckoo,
or maybe like Cuckoo goes missing, but we don't say that he falls off a cliff. Like, I don't know, something like, obviously Andy had to leave the show, but you couldn't have had him and Rachel go off. Like, you had to recast Rachel, so you couldn't have sent Rachel off with Cuckoo so they could live happily ever after. Fuck off with this shit.
Yeah.
I am angry about it. But the first season is great. So watch that and then just ignore the rest. Anyway, that's my review. Any final thoughts for you on Cuckoo?
Final thoughts. I thought it was cute and fun.
Yes.
But not very intellectually or emotionally deep or stimulating. But yeah, it's cute and fun. And Andy is delightful.
Andy is delightful. If you're an Andy fan, watch Cuckoo. It's on Netflix.
Yes.
But only the first season. Fuck the rest of it.
6 episodes.
6 episodes. It's quick. You get in, you get out. It's good stuff. Are we ready for our moments of thirst?
Sure.
Okay. I think it's your turn to go first. Or is it my turn to go first? It's your turn to go first.
I can go first.
Okay, you go first.
I only had 2.
What?
Yeah.
Sarah, how dare you?
So
I know you didn't like it. You didn't like the hippie.
I've noticed that your thirsty moments are usually more about aesthetics, and mine are usually more about characterization.
I'm a visual gal. I like a visual. I like a yeah. Please keep going. You keep going. Stop. Just cut me off anytime.
So my first moment is when he is meditating
in the nude,
naked on the counter. Second moment is actually a lot of moments. Anytime he dances.
Yes,
he dances a lot.
Dances so much, and I love it. I love it when he dances.
And
those are all good moments of thirst. Okay, so my first moment of thirst literally happens within like the first 2 minutes of the show. It's when he takes the stupid mask off and reveals his face. I mean, this was like, for me, it was almost like that Ben Solo moment for me, where they take the mask off and I was like, oh shit, he's pretty. Like, I know I've seen Andy in so many other things that we've watched, but I was like, ooh, he's hot in this show. Like, I just was like immediately like, yes. It was just like, he just like radiated sex to me immediately when he took that mask off. So that was my first one. Number 2, and I have 4, so I'll make up for the one that you didn't use. Number 2 is Andy's just like naked a lot. Like, I respect it. He's naked constantly. He's got his shirt off for like most of the season, and I have to applaud that. And when he didn't, he had those amazing costumes on.
Yeah. That revealed skin.
Yes. I even liked him in the onesie. I was about it.
The onesie, yeah.
Yeah. Number 3 is just like his big soft brown eyes. Like, number 3 and number 4 are kind of tied together because his big soft brown eyes and his skin looked so good. Like, I don't know what skin regimen he was on when he was in over in Britain, like filming this movie, but he looked like amazing. Like, his eyes and maybe it's like the lenses they were using. I don't know. There were a lot of close-ups and they used a lot of what looked like kind of like natural light coming in from the window and stuff. I mean, I know that they obviously were lighting the show, but it was very soft, the light that they were using. And so his skin just like looked really good and his eyes always just looked really soft. And so, yeah, those are my moments of thirst.
I did not pick up on that at all.
His face looked beautiful in like every shot. Even the neck beard, I was into it. I didn't think I was into neck beards, but as it turns out, I am.
As you would imagine, I'm normally up for pretty much anything in the bedroom, but I can't tell if what happened was weird or sexy.
Shall we do some Adam or Andy trivia?
Yes, this is actually multiple choice about Andy.
Oh, I'm excited. Adam or Andy, a trivia contest for one, and today's multiple choice. So I'm excited. Yes, let's do it.
Just Andy.
I'm into it. Okay. So is this where I have? Okay, you tell me the rules. You tell me the rules.
You just have to guess which one. I'm going to give you 3 options,
and I have to
guess which is true.
Okay, so 2 of them are false this time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's
it's going to be tricky. Okay.
All right.
Let me just think about his soft brown eyes for a moment to prepare myself. Okay, I'm ready. Okay.
He has a cocktail named after him called Andy Alex Samberg.
I really hope that's true, but I also love the way you popped the word cock on cocktail. So please, let's get on to B. I hope that's true. I'd drink it.
He has a burger named after him called the Samberger.
What? Are these all going to be a theme?
Or he has a sandwich named after him called the Hamdy Sandwich.
God, this is like, I think, the hardest multiple choice test I've ever taken. God.
One of these is actually true, Nicole.
Right now I'm bouncing between what were the 2? There was the hamburger and what was the second? The sandwich?
Andy Alex Samberg and Samberger. And Hamdy Sandwich.
Hamdy Sandwich, which was the last one, right?
Yes.
Damn it. I want all of these to be true. Hey, Sarah, can we have a Andy Samberg themed restaurant where all the foods are Andy Samberg name puns, and we can even use like his character names, like God, if only I was good at puns. I'm trying to think of something with Jake Peralta. I'll get we could have a Shake Peralta, a chocolate Shake Peralta.
Yes, nice.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Okay, I'm gonna go with B. I'm just gonna throw it in there and go with B, the burger.
You're correct.
Oh, I'm so excited. Can I eat this burger? Is it somewhere I can order it? I don't eat meat though.
It's in LA.
Oh, so I have to go to LA? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I'll go. I hope they have a Beyond Andy hamburger that I can have.
But Nicole, aren't you proud of me for coming up with Andy Alex Samberg and Hamdy Sandwich?
Hamdy Sandwich is the greatest thing I've ever heard. And I think the only reason I didn't pick it was I was like, that pun is too good. That is something Sarah made up. No one comes up with a pun that good. It has to be Sarah.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. If anyone tweeted us at AdamAndyPod if you want to invest in our restaurant, it's Andy Samberg themed foods, and we will have the Hamdy sandwich, and you can get a side of Shake Peralta with it.
Oh, you look awesome. Come the fuck upstairs.
Okay.
But wait, I have to warn you about something.
What?
If you come up here, I'm going to tie you to my bed and keep you for at least 3 days. I'm just in that kind of mood.
Okay, are you ready to spin the wheel and see what we're going to watch next? Yeah. Let me make sure that I have my wheel picker up. Okay, so let's share that screen. All right, can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, okay, here we go. So on the wheel this week, we have While We're Young, which is another Noah Baumbach film. What If? Midnight Special, Patterson, and Black Klansman. So
he's been in so many movies.
I know. Today I was trying to pick another one for the wheel, and I was like, Jesus Christ, we're never going to get through all these. Also, he has 5 movies that haven't been released yet. All right. Anyway, not really. He's got The Last Duel and Annette that are completed, and then he's shooting 65 right now. Okay. Here we go. Oop, no, I already updated. Let's click on that wheel. And it's going to be What If? What If? What if? I'm going to go
what
to the...
is What If?
Well, let me go to a description here. He plays Alan in What If. I haven't seen this movie. It stars Daniel Radcliffe, Zoe Kazan, Mackenzie Davis, and Adam Driver, and a bunch of other people. So here is the plot synopsis. Wallace, who I believe is played by Harry Potter, who is burned out from a string of failed relationships, forms an instant bond with Chantry, who lives with her longtime boyfriend. Together they puzzle out what it means if your best friend is also the love of your life.
Well, that describes us.
I mean, you are the love. You are my wife. You are my life partner.
Yeah.
So that's What If. You may have seen the GIF of Adam where he said, well, I don't want to ruin it for you. Have you ever seen the GIF of him sitting with Daniel Radcliffe where he's got like a plate of nachos?
No.
And he's okay. Well, then I'm not gonna spoil it for you. The GIF is playing in my head right now. I've never seen What If, so this will be new for me. This will be a new one to check off my Adam list.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that. So, all right. Well, listeners, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Adam and Andy podcast. I know this was a long one. Thanks for hanging in there with us. We had a lot of ground to cover today. Before we go, I just wanted to say that we absolutely love talking about these shows and these films and these actors. We love talking about them with you on social media. So please continue to reach out to us and give us suggestions and, correct anything we missed out or left out or missed, or tell us your most thirsty moments from Cuckoo. You can, Sarah.
Why was he wearing a diaper? I'm just
because
curious.
If anybody can explain to us the custom of stag parties in the British culture, we would appreciate it because we didn't know about that whole diaper thing. But anyway, you can find us on social media at Adam and Andy Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and you can find us on Twitter at Adam Andy Pod. Also, just wanted to plug the Critical Crop Top Sketch Comedy Web Show. We've got another episode coming out next week. Actually, at this moment, when you're listening to the show, it'll already be out. Which one is it? I don't know. Do you know? I know because I've been editing it already. I've been editing all day. So the Critical Crop Top Sketch Comedy Web Show stars me and Sarah, Melissa Knapp, Ava Davis, Brandon Mitchell. We all wrote the show together. We all directed it. We shot it all virtually, so it was a mixture of Zoom. We also had people shooting scenes on their own at their homes and stuff. It's pretty fun. So it's us, but also a bunch of other fun actors that were involved with the show. It's all available. Well, it's available everywhere, honestly. I've been uploading it to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's on our YouTube channel. So if you subscribe to the Critical Crop Top YouTube channel, you'll also be able to watch the vidcast of this podcast. So that's a bonus. But also you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Critical Crop Top. So yeah. Well, Sarah, I think I might watch Cuckoo again. I need to cleanse myself from that season 2 episode that I watched. I need to cleanse it. I need to cleanse. I need a little eye cleanse. I'm gonna watch that scene just on repeat where he takes the mask off, I think a few times, and then I'm gonna go to bed.
Sounds like a plan. I am going to eat more pretzel crisps.
Don't force yourself. Don't force yourself, girl.